look at us there. 8 years ago, 8 years of Cultaholic, and long may it continue. But I've decided to step down and leave Cultaholic at the end of this month, with Sam taking over as managing director of the company, and that's a role that he's actually already started and is doing great at. But yeah, I've decided to step away to pursue other opportunities away from wrestling, and the reason for that essentially is that I feel like a lot of my passion over the last 10 years of doing this YouTube wrestling nonsense, a lot of my passion for wrestling has sort of dwindled away a little bit, and I think it's time for other people to have the opportunities that I've been so lucky to have over the last decade or so. So yeah, the last thing that you're going to see me on is not this video. It is the end of the month. We're going to try and raise as much money for charity as possible, doing our live stream at the end of the month, the Saudi Arabia stream. We've always done those for charity, and we'll continue to do so. And that's the last time that you'll see me. I'll still do the Tuesday streams. You'll still see me pop up on news and stuff like that. But yeah, as of the end of this month, for you, I'm gone. Is it real? I have no idea. I have no idea. Yeah. No idea how to present this information. This is the third take of just the intro of this little podcast that we're doing. But we thought it'd be fun to look back the last 8 years of Cultaholic, and a bit of the What Culture stuff as well, and just have a bit of a reminisce, because I think over the past few years, we appear on camera as a group like this pretty infrequently. We were all doing stuff full time, and so I thought it'd be fun to get everybody together and just have a little chat. So yeah, Sam is taking over. How are you getting on?
Yeah, it's been a lot to sort of get my head around. There's a lot to obviously take on, but I feel like everything is moving in a really positive way. Everybody seems to be really positively receptive to the fact that I'm going to be stepping into the role, and just sort of trying to look ahead to the future of Cultaholic, right?
That's it, and that's what this is really all about. I'm leaving, but there's Cultaholic is doing absolutely fine. Sam's going to be great. We've got the best team possible, who are going to continue producing the stuff that you all really, really love. And just to because it's YouTube and it's like wrestling and people are expecting drama, there's no drama here at all. I want to go and try other things away from wrestling, and this is as amicable as something can possibly be, and I know wishing the best hopefully on both sides of things.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, as far as the content moving forward, you're better qualified than me now to talk about this, but there's not going to be any massive changes. Obviously, we're down a presenter, so people might have to be a bit understanding.
You're going to probably see a couple of different faces in places that they wouldn't usually be, but I think content is largely going to, you're not going to see massive sweeping changes all of a sudden. It's not just going to change. I think there's a lot of brilliant ideas currently in the mix from a wonderful team that we are exploring, and we're in the process of shooting. We've shot something new that you're going to be in the first episode of as well, which will be going out before the end of the month.
Tell them a bit more. Go on,
it's called Pain Per View, and we have got the list of the 100 worst ranked WWE wrestling shows of all time on Cage Match, and it's sort of like a lucky dip. It's Owen Mawson's idea, but we pick out of a hat the name of a show, and then we have to sort of sit, watch it, and determine whether it's really deserving of its place on that list of worst wrestling show. The first one was really bad. It was really bad. So we've got a lot of new ideas in the mix. There's going to be a lot of new content flowing out on the channel. But yeah, I think in the interim, in the meantime, it's just going to kind of be business as usual with some different faces. Yeah,
for sure. Let's talk about the formation of Cultaholic.
I thought you were going to go back to how did we meet and all that sort of stuff.
I don't even remember the first time.
Across an echoey office.
Was it you, or was it you, Sam or Ross, who was at What Culture first?
So I got hired there May of 2020. No, 2024. No, 2014, I think. So it's 11 years.
I did a trial.
Oh.
I did a trial in December 2014.
Yeah.
Left for another job, and then asked if I could join full time at What Culture after a few months. So I joined, I want to say around the time of WrestleMania 31.
Yeah.
So like spring 2015, and then I met you maybe at the Christmas party, Adam.
I think that's the first time. It was the first time I'd ever been to Newcastle. In
It's
fact,
when-
was
Yeah.
the Christmas party.
It's when our good friend Ricky, who worked at What Culture at the time, threatened to fight you, I believe, because he was drunk.
Did he?
And
Yeah, you-
Irish as well.
You were arguing about. You were trying to have quite a sensible conversation about
Thank you.
coding or something. They were talking about like different types of coding.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I'm the bell in there because he was an actual coder, wasn't
And
he?
he said something like, "But you were trying to have
Just
a nice-"
trying to make
And then he
conversation,
was
sure.
like, "Nah, that's crap. Fight me."
I think
He
part
was-
of it was because you were tall. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, I've had that my whole life. Yeah, well, I studied software development for a year. I did a BTEC in software development, and after a few drinks, I probably thought, "Oh no, I'll talk about Pascal and all of these dead languages that I learned." But obviously, embarrassment. I don't remember him trying to fight me though.
It was a small part of the night.
Yeah.
It was great. And then we became almost
Friends?
accidentally friends, of course, but almost accidentally like a collective. And then
Yeah.
I don't know how much time we want to spend on the What Culture stuff because this is obviously meant to be Cultaholic centric.
No, I think people will be interested, won't they? We had talked about potentially starting our own thing for quite a while, hadn't
Oh,
we?
I had. Yeah.
Well, it was a good 6 months of all of us being like, sort of like, let's try and see if this is possible.
I think it started off as
sort of,
just,
"Come on."
wouldn't it be nice if in the pub? And then gradually
Yeah.
it became like, no, we should.
secret meetings.
And it was about going away and seeing if we could do it on our own, wasn't it? And that was the biggest part, seeing if we could
Do you
we could
remember
make a go of
just
it.
on the point of the secret meeting, sneaking off one by one to the hotel up the street, like
Yeah.
we were in some like
We
James
shouldn't.
Bond movie.
We
It
weren't
was all
shagging.
after hours.
Yeah,
You
so
said
that's
the
what I'm doing.
hotel up the street, the hotel bar up the street.
But like it was always sort of post work. We'd leave one by one, and then we'd sit, and that was sort of the initial impetus for what would become Cultaholic.
And then that happened a lot quicker than expected.
Well, that's
Yeah.
because of you and your big podgy fingers, let's say.
So the way, I don't think we've ever talked about this before. I don't remember talking about it before. I may have done. The way it unfolded is that we were getting things set up, and then one day we started the Cultaholic Slack group, and I created that. And Slack, if you're unfamiliar, it's just like, it's Microsoft Teams, basically. It's just like a big chat room, business Discord, basically. Got that set up, and I sent the invite round to everybody, and you just put in everybody's email address. Unfortunately, I used the work email of one of the people that we were emailing, and it got very quickly seen, and then meetings were called.
What a day.
Oh yeah.
It was 9/11. It was 9/11 when these meetings happened.
Yeah,
It
it
was.
was.
It was a great day.
It was literally
That was the date.
Can we say that on YouTube?
What?
The date itself? I don't know.
Well, yeah. We didn't
9th
find
day of
out till the
September.
end though, but
Yeah.
it was one by one. I believe I was the final meeting. You were the first meeting.
Ross was first.
Yeah.
Well, I got called in. If anyone remembers back in the day, the wonderfully constructed and great idea that was What Culture Extra. Obviously, Adam Blompier was the first to depart of the What Culture team, as it was back then. And as a result of that, I was called in under the premise of, we need to sort out What Culture Extra, Ross. You can be the face of it going forwards. Let's talk about some ideas. And I sat down at the table opposite the two bosses, and almost immediately, like, it was like I was at the crease, at the Oval. Facing Brettley or someone. They
Bouncers,
They cricket bulled the sheet of paper towards me, and it was the company's house registration of Cultaholic Ventures Limited with Pacitti, Blompier at the
Oh
time,
my God.
Gang, the driver, everyone's name on it. And they're just like, "What's this then, Ross?" And I was like, "Oh, you know then."
What can you say? What can you possibly say?
So then, yeah, they made offers to try and keep me there. They made offers to try and keep you there as well, didn't they?
I believe, yeah.
They
It
made
was-
offers to keep all of us
Yeah.
one by
It
one, I
was
think. And
so-
I remember we had like a group chat set up, and I just remember thinking,
Oh no.
hope we all kind of hold firm.
Yeah.
Hope nobody, breaks, because then otherwise it would all have fallen apart.
But I just remember that feeling of like, I can't actually remember the conversation that we had other than, oh, you know then. But I remember walking out and the office was like sort of open plan, everyone was there. And I just remember walking past Sam's desk going, they know.
I wasn't there, so like I was on a train. I remember I came back and I got a message
was me.
just saying they know.
Because I remember you walked past my desk, and as you walked past, it was like in a film. You went, "They know," and I was like, "Oh!" And then I got the notification, like, "Can you come to the meeting room?" I was like, on? It was horrible.
I then got the message, I'm on a train. I get the message being like, oh, well, when are you going to be back? And I was like, probably about 2 o'clock. They're like, let's meet at 3. And I remember walking into the office, and I think we'd all agreed to go just meet at the Weatherspoons so we could deconstruct and talk to each other. So I'm just sort of expecting what I've seen from you guys. And I walk in and all I hear is just ooh from all the staff. And I had to sit down and wait and then finally had the meeting. And then that was when we got to that Spoons. It was like, at least we'll always remember this date. And then we checked the phone and it was 9/11.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
And obviously then things went from bad to worse. And there was a whole lot of scandal, for want of a better word, and it turned out that Blompier wouldn't be joining us with Cultaholic, and I think we were panicking. Obviously, he was like the face of that channel, and he was a very big draw and everything. And obviously, we have very, very popular people on the channel, but it really did throw things into disarray.
It looked for a while like it maybe wasn't going to happen now.
Yeah.
I remember
and we just left our jobs.
We went to the Quayside Weatherspoons, part of the Jericho Triangle for fans of the podcast, where I remember looking at the Time Bridge and then looking back at Sam and then looking at the Time Bridge and thinking,
I remember this.
I'm going back to What Culture tomorrow at Grumble for my job.
Crawl all the way across the bridge.
Yeah. Can I please have my job? But that's how close it got to sort of like not happening as a result of what had to happen at the time.
Yeah. And we decided to soldier on with it, and it's really down to people, I think in part feeling a bit sorry for us, but wanting to see us succeed.
The response was unbelievable.
People were so kind about the whole situation, and sure there were the people going like, well, this is over for them.
Yeah.
And then we launched, and we launched a lot quicker than we were meant to. Like we brought it forward by at least a month, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah.
We had time. We had time to really prep, and then we didn't have time to prep.
No office.
No office.
No.
And we just thought, like, right, we'd give it. What's the worst that can happen? We give it a go, and it fails.
I'm glad we were younger.
Yeah.
Because now I'd be like, oh, it's a bit much.
I'm glad our housemates didn't really mind that. Like the living room was just like 4 lights.
That makes it sound like we all had a content
But
house,
it
guys.
was
Me
like-
and Sam lived together at
We
the
lived
time.
with people who worked in like finance and like high level IT, and they were like sort of coming and going, normal business people. And then the living room was like really long and thin. And I remember it was just lights, tripod. It was just stuff that we had, just clogging the place up. But we had one green screen. We had the couch. Like that was it. We just film in my front room.
I remember.
Yeah, or the woods.
I remember having a real, the fact that I still remember this. I remember having a real diva moment early on, and sat on the sofa in our living room.
Yeah.
And it was like early in the morning, because early on, do you remember there was like an arms race for the news?
Yeah.
And we have to get up so early to try and beat
if
What
it
Culture
broke
the
at like
news.
3 a.m.
And
we
I
had
remember
to be up.
dragging myself out of bed, sat there ready for this, and then the lights took a while to set up and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And we were like, "Ugh." And then I remember sat there, did the take, and then you went, actually stop there, you've got hair caught in your eyelash. And I was just like, oh, I can't be doing that. And that sort of is my main memory of the stress of that autumn, of that
Yeah.
time.
My main memory was the hilarity of the man and his his children, which were 2 little white dogs who shouted at me me for swearing in the woods while filming WTF moments. And he
Even
also
though you
kept
didn't.
going, huh?
You
You
said
didn't
prick,
swear.
didn't you?
I think I said prick.
Yeah.
Maybe a boss.
And also,
was
they,
him
and
and an
also they
old
weren't his
woman.
children. Let's,
Yeah.
let's-
Dogs are
they were
lovely,
dogs.
but
Oh, yeah, of
You
course.
can't say me children's ears are getting harmed by your words. But I remember him going to me and you, and we
Yeah.
didn't realise this at the time because we're just in the woods.
It's
We
all
could,
right, I
we could
think-
see a field to the right-hand side of the camera. But he kept going, I know what yous are up to. And it turns out that one morning
Like
we
my
went back.
dog is or something.
No, worse than that, Sam, because one morning, a few WTFs in the woods in, the school field filled with children.
no.
And we're in the woods with the camera. And he kept going, I know what yous are up to. And we didn't. Yeah, we didn't know that was a school field next to us there. So that was a lovely day when the rugby team of whatever school it was came out for their warm-up that
With
day.
a camera and a tripod
Yeah.
set up.
Run,
That's
run,
awesome.
run.
I had my big green winter's coat on as well.
Can you not, would you not trust these 4 lads? Just picture that. Just looking into the
field right there.
Just
Those
gazing
2
into
lads in the woods together with a
Yeah,
camera.
lads.
But I remember
Doing your rugby training, are you?
during the initial phase with like the filming in the woods, I remember there was one morning I got like somebody in the house had norovirus, and me and you were like desperately trying not to get it. I ended up getting it, so I was like completely out of commission. I was like vomiting everywhere. I couldn't like stay awake. I was just sort of completely bedridden. And then Get Better, we filmed like 2 whole videos. And then I remember messaging you over the weekend. Yeah, I should be good for that recording. I got food poisoning. So then I was out of commission again. I remember I woke up one morning all like bleary-eyed. And I just see you stand over me going, Sam.
I don't remember.
Sam. And then I just remember waking up to a bottle of Lucozade next to us.
Oh.
You just go, there you go.
Hey,
and then
that's-
see you later.
That's really
I'm
sweet.
proud of myself.
After being such a diva before.
I know,
that's
yeah.
really,
I
really
clearly still
nice.
felt bad about the eyelash situation.
So we worked without an office for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And then financially, we were in the position to finally sign a lease. And we've been in this office block. We've taken on more space since, but we had the upstairs office. And we basically made do because it's not ever really been fit for purpose. We converted a meeting room into the green screen studio that you see things still filmed in front of now, and we've very much made it our own for sure. But it was just to circle back and give appreciation for the kindness that people showed. It wouldn't have been possible without people not only just watching the videos initially, which weren't even monetized at the start because we have got to go through a whole process, and YouTube take forever to do that. But really, the people who were so generous on Patreon, the people that signed up, and especially big shout out to Brett, Tear of Grace. You still see him pop up in like live chats from time to time. I don't think he realizes just how much help he was. At the
still
start.
is.
Yeah.
And still, yeah, for sure. And
Massively integral part of the start of our story.
he really is. But everybody as well who is just so generous and has continued to be generous. Like we still do the live streams. The Patreon is still up now. There's some really, really great stuff on there, and I think we're all really, really like proud of what we give to patrons. But thank you, massively, thank you, because it was rough at the start. It was after everything that had happened, and it was quicker. And then we lost Blompier, and then we didn't know if it would succeed. And we're sat here in a bigger office, 8 years on, and it's really, really cool that that's been the case. I think obviously we're very, very proud of everything that we've produced over the years. Some of people's favorite videos, the things that still get talked about to this day, and we still do them. They're over on Patreon now because YouTube demonetizes all of them. But the punishment videos that we've done over time, the first one that we ever did was me turning into an egg, a baked potato. I remember doing a WCF.
Already. Look at the state of me there. I was one of them. So yeah, we had to throw the eyebrows in just to make it fair.
But it's not fair. But I remember your scheduling of this. It was like, oh, we can do it straight after. We can do it on this day. You forgot you had a meeting or a Skype meeting with somebody from YouTube concerning the monetization or something. So I remember you had to wear a hat and big glasses, so you didn't just look like a complete baked bean.
Yeah, I'm glad they grew back, because I remember people in the comment section immediately going like, "Oh, does Adam realize there's like a 25% or something chance that they won't grow back? If you shave your eyebrows, there's a good chance they won't grow back." And the worst thing is, when you're doing it, we got to the eye before we did the eyebrows, the hair was off, and I was like, I quite like that. That looks all right. I remember people going, he looks a bit like CM Punk. You remember CM Punk? I was like, all right. Have some of that. And then the eyebrows came off, and I didn't look like CM Punk at all anymore.
I remember not long after that, just by chance, just bumping into you on a night out, and I couldn't believe it. Not in a nasty way. I just couldn't believe, like, fair play. Like, I would never have had the balls.
I'm so happy.
Eyebrow.
I'm so happy you won, because if I lost that one, 2008 Gene Snitsky is what I would look like. Of the two of us, yours is a lot more flattering than what my outcome would have been. Yeah. But I was crapping myself doing that, because shaving, I was a legitimate raise, everybody. A wet shave on the top of your head. I thought, when Raven got shaved, they went the wrong way.
Didn't you proper slap him on the head to close the video as well?
Yeah.
Why? God,
You got to sync up the audio.
Yeah.
You got to sync up the audio.
We also did.
That was the clap.
We also did Amsterdam.
Oh God!
17 hours was it on the bus for you?
Yeah, pretty miserable.
But that wasn't the punishment. The way there wasn't the punishment.
Yeah, I guess it was a small part of the punishment, because after arriving in Amsterdam, I was immediately sent on a coach back home. I think I had a 45-minute window, something like that, to grab a sandwich, and then a 25-hour journey or whatever it was on the way back. Meanwhile, Ross has flown out there. and had a really
Expected
nice.
to see you, Adam, but you weren't there.
No, well, maybe you should have booked different coaches. And we could have had a nice weekend together.
I had a great time on the company card, might I?
Yeah, all on the company card.
all
I
of the
processed
beers.
all the receipts when I got back, so that was
Maybe
fun.
20 beers maybe that day. You know, trip to the zoo, trip to the sex museum.
Literally,
On my own.
I'm back in the office and you're out at the zoo in Amsterdam.
On my own?
Yeah, on your own,
It was
yeah.
a mini punishment for me, really, just a war of attrition with a vlog. Because I hate vlogging.
Oh, it's the worst part.
And especially in big places like zoos where everyone's looking at you, I'm going, ha ha, look at that.
How are you doing like on the bus? That must have been like if people start being loud on a bus, you get really angry at them. And a bus that long.
I wasn't vlogging. I was vlogging a minimal amount, knowing that, okay, we need to do a video off the back of this, but thinking this is all worth it, right? It's all worth it. I'm going to get to Amsterdam. I like Amsterdam, and I can go and have a few beers, visit a coffee shop, do whatever. So I was in, I don't want to say good spirits, but I was on holiday at the end of the day. On the way back, I did not want to turn that camera on one bit. And it was the same with the worst hotel punishment. When I went down to, it was just outside of Birmingham, wasn't it? Got the coach there. Jack put me on the coach. And
I didn't do what Ross did, though. I didn't take a nice trip to
no. But that is the one punishment I think I've sort of won because I didn't spend the night there.
You gamed it.
I found a fiver. I found a fiver in the room and then put it on the roulette.
Was it me who put you on the coach? It was. I remember putting you on the Skydive.
Oh, the Skydive.
The Skydive.
Looking back, are you glad you did it?
Yeah, it's one of those things that you can that comes up, isn't it? If you're chatting, so you ever done a skydive? Yeah, I didn't want to. The embarrassing thing about there were two embarrassing moments actually. I remember accidentally joining the wrong class.
That was legitimately terrifying.
Yeah,
with all the paratroopers.
With all the paratroopers, they were like army cadet or whatever. And saw everybody walk in, and they're all like, I don't know, 16 to 18 years old and like hench. Yeah, they're proper. And I just thought, oh, okay, that's the class that I'm going into to learn how to skydive. And they're all getting suited up, and I was like, oh, sure, this is going to be a tandem thing, right? I'm going to be attached to somebody. And meanwhile, they're putting all of their parachutes on and everything. And like 5 minutes, they're jumping in a plane and then jumping out of a plane. And I finally got the balls to go, am I in the right place? And the panic on the guy's face because he almost just chucked some random out of a plane. And
That's how they used to do it, though, by the way. My fiance's parents back in the early 90s did a skydive and they just sent you up by yourself.
What?
They both
I just
did it.
trusted you to
Just
pull the
trusted
thing.
you to do the thing on your own. That's how it used to be done up until the early 90s at the very latest.
I remember, Jack, me and you sitting the lovely concessions booth opened while Adam was waiting to
It
go
was
up
like
in
a
the plane.
tiny social club.
We
It was
watched
nice.
him. We watched him take off, and I remember we were sort of dotting around the question of like, this is all going to be fine, though, isn't it? Like nothing's going to go wrong. Everything's going to be all right.
They said our handler, the woman who'd been assigned to watch us, the adult in the room. These are the YouTubers.
Yeah.
She was really nice because she was like, do you want to come on the field and get him when he lands? And we were like, yeah.
Yeah.
We were like, this video is going to be great. Adam probably wasn't thinking the same because he was at that moment about to jump out the plane.
Well, the thing that brought me back down to earth, no pun intended, was I was on there with an elderly woman. She was in her 70s and she clearly had some sort of bucket list, and she was just doing all of this stuff, ticking things off her bucket list. And one of those things, like she probably swam with dolphins or whatever, but one of those things was a skydive. And she's there cool as a pissing cucumber. She couldn't give a toss. And I'm
I've got a
terrified.
lot less to lose to.
I honestly thought you were going to say it was when they opened the chute and my bollocks just go.
Well, that's another thing. I thought it would be you jump out the plane, the parachute deploys, and then you go slightly slower down to earth. I needed the sick bag when I was going down because it felt so slow in comparison to the preceding falling. It felt so slow that I got bloody car sick. I got travel sick on the way down. And I remember this guy handing me a bag.
You should have just vommed on County Durham.
I should have done.
Yeah.
I should have
I
done.
think that probably happens to a lot of people.
Yeah, potentially. It was rough. Similarly, you got to meet a snake.
An array of pets, snakes. They were Yeah, wasn't looking forward to that.
She was brilliant, by the way, the woman who
she was-
was
yeah,
doing camera.
she-
She was great on camera. She was reluctant to be on camera at first, and I was like, you don't have to, because I was leading the video.
Yeah.
Oh, she proper
I was
just
like, you don't have to, and then she was
nailed
cracking
it.
jokes.
Yeah.
She was a show woman.
Yeah, it was it was fine with like the corn snake, and then it was by the time I got to the big snake, I was like, it was really heavy and it's really cold. I wasn't expecting it to be like as cold as they
I've got
were.
no sympathy, mate.
And I was just like, well, yeah, but you had a pet snake. You're fine with snakes.
Yeah, fair.
Not to, like, because I know Ross took the day off that day
Yeah, I wasn't coming in for a snake.
Yeah.
to avoid the snake. And I realised, oh, right, it'll be me then. I'm going to lead in this one. And I
Yeah.
didn't know whether I was scared of snakes or not. But I leaned more towards staying away from the
Yeah,
snakes.
well,
I thought
I
that was
loved it.
that was a
When they
hard
turned
video to
to
present.
stare at me, I
That was a
was
hard
like,
video to
ooh.
present because I had to be all, I've just beaten Sam in the punishment, isn't this great? But inside I'm like, oh.
Ross, meanwhile, the happy camper here, was buried alive on which
Blythe.
beach?
Blythe Beach,
Blythe
yeah.
Beach. So we went out there. We had
Very
the
early
You went
morning.
that far?
Yeah.
You got a time now.
We were digging a grave because
Alright.
it was a quiet beach, wasn't it? It wasn't going to be
Ah,
as busy
I
as
see.
time. We were digging a
There was
grave.
still
as this
dog
man's
walkers,
just
though.
walking his dog, like throwing a beat.
I know
What
what
he's
you're
doing there,
saying.
lads?
There's a school here and all. It just follows you around.
Son, with that camera in that wood, he deserves it.
Yeah.
But buried in that. Was it 10 minutes? Because I've got bad claustrophobia.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
We had a little gas oxygen tank in there just in case.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a happy camper was the
I'm a
safe
happy
word or
camper.
the signal to get out. I can't remember
Yeah.
now. After Father Ted, of course. Yeah.
When it
was
started
quite-
like creaking and bowing, how was that? Like, how did it feel?
Well, it was wicker. Let's
Yeah.
get that out there. It wasn't a very sturdy craft. And I'm a big lad anyway, so of course
It was a humanist coffin.
I remember when my arse hit the surface, it just sort of dropped out the bottom a little bit, which is quite a nice little moment for the video. But yeah, apart from it was
Would have
just
been comfier though.
a tight space. And then not the worst part was being in there, but like for at least 6 months after, it just was next to my desk in the office. The coffin.
Maybe longer.
As a
The
nice
coffin was there
reminder.
for a
Yeah.
long time.
put a tweet out and like, oh, does anyone want a coffin? Does anyone
we
want to come
couldn't-
collect?
we
And
couldn't
two
resell it,
nutters, no
right?
disrespect, because they might be watching this. Two nutters turned up in like a Skoda and packed this coffin. And they were like, what are you going to do with it? Oh, we don't know. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Fair.
think we looked to sell it on, but there was some legal thing. We couldn't resell a coffin.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, I'm sure when we looked at it, it was like, we just have to give it away then.
It was
And just
knackered
sat
anyway.
there.
Mm.
It was like, if we were ever in the office late, it doubled up as a table. We'd
Yeah.
get pizza on it, but yeah.
We'll come back to the punishments because there's a lot of them to talk about. We'll
Yeah.
talk about, I think this is probably around about the time that we were filming some of these Face Your Fear punishments. This would have been a couple of months before. Our first member of staff joined us. So it was just us four. And then Tubman.
Yeah.
Tubman came on board, and Tubman's someone that we used to work with at What Culture, did a lot of your WTF.
Did all of them for the last 8-9 months of me being there. It was him. Like we had Chris Thompson, who was obviously brilliant in his own right, but then Tubman took over from Chris, and yeah, me and him just worked every single day. It felt like at What Culture for that last 7, 8, 9 months. So it was a no-brainer to try and get him because he's amazing at what he does. Is Richard Tubman?
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah,
He's
he's fantastic.
You may have seen him on the podcast, Tubman in Japan, obviously. He's been a joy to work with and will continue to be a joy to work with for you guys. He's so good at what he does. And there were various people at What Culture who were just like so great, and I'm sure even now we'd love to work with again in some capacity. But it was always like Tubman. He's brilliant.
I mean, it goes without saying, but he took a massive leap of faith.
Yeah.
Because he
Oh,
was
yeah.
at What Culture and then decided to leave and join us, which was no guarantee that, even at this point, no guarantee that it was still going to be a long-term thing.
I'm sure it was
for
like
him.
the January or the February when he joined, wasn't
That's
it? I think
early.
we launched
Yeah,
in
it was.
November.
Yeah, it was
It was
really
very early.
really soon after. And yeah, you're totally right. And like he's still here with us now and is still producing amazing stuff. But he did take that leap of faith, and that was really cool of him to do.
Also, the consensus coolest man in the office,
Oh,
unfortunately
yeah,
for the rest of
by a
us.
country
Yeah.
mile.
So well dressed.
Really well dressed, knows how to DJ, has a quiet voice. I was going to say that.
He's
That's
a
cool about him.
skinhead now.
No.
Yeah, he shaved
Yeah,
off.
he
I
shaved
saw
off.
him
For
on
a while.
Monday. Yeah, he's
I bet he still looks
it looks
good.
amazing.
Of
Of course he
course,
does.
yeah,
He was
yeah.
wearing a hat. It's like, why? Show it off.
You know, I see
Former
him
pro
on-
wrestler as well. Hold on.
Former pro wrestler.
former
Ricky Yan.
worker,
Ricky
brother.
Yan.
Gary's
Yeah.
white van. Around that time as well, little Matthew joined. I said little Matthew in a very condescending way.
Little
Little
Matthew.
Tiny Matthew joined. Matthew of Botchamania bloody joined us as
Yeah.
well.
He
That was a
came-
big deal because Matthew's like wrestling YouTube royalty, isn't he?
he's part of the reason I started watching again.
Same.
I don't know if he's
Same.
Yeah.
because those Botchamania videos were and still are just so funny, and like nothing like that had been done before. And he's so lovely, isn't he? He's just a lovely man, and he came in. Did some of the worst podcasting imaginable.
It was early. It wasn't just his fault. It wasn't
No,
just
it
his fault.
wasn't.
It was
When he
just him.
smashed time, because
It
like,
was.
when we worked for What Culture,
Off his face, I'm just
Matthew, like in his anti-establishment ways, I guess, was like, "Oh, these lads at the top of the YouTube game, let's like not bash them, but like little snide comments here and there." So I was a bit like, "Does he like us? Does he not like us?" And I'd never met him. Jack knew him loosely
Very
before
loosely.
the first podcast, so at least he like knew to say hello to him. I never really talked to Matthew before that at all, so that awkwardness really shone through. But over time, I mean, it's taken a good 5 years to get
the
good.
rapport
last,
is there now.
The last 3 years of
Oh, they've
podcasting
been
have been
magic.
fantastic.
I think that we realised quickly that Matthew wasn't having a go at us for any particular reason. It's just his humour.
Yeah.
He's the Botchamania man.
Yeah.
I remember walking around with it. We'll talk about some of the trips we've been lucky enough to go on through work later on, I guess. But I remember walking around at one of the conventions with him, just because it happened to be just me and him at the time. Oh, he
Yeah.
was introducing me to all sorts of people. Here's the WrestleCrap lads. Here's all the... I was like, what? And Matthew knows everyone and is one of them.
Yep.
It's when I've really got the sense like, oh, you are wrestling YouTube, you. It's
Yeah.
weird.
And the queue for his services, the turnstile. Joel's laughing because he knows it's.
God.
It was
the
incredibly
turnstile,
long. Yeah,
go
you
on.
should- when Matthew goes to live wrestling shows, the bigger ones especially, he always lets people know that to form an orderly queue, and then he'll see them, and then things happen. And the queue at every event I've been to with Matthew has been incredibly long. Both.
Well, he's not sat with a table here, is he? This is
Oh,
literally just in the concourse
he
or whatever.
heads behind closed doors. in respect, yeah, so, yeah, he does wonderful work for the community.
We also had a few new additions soon after. Justin Henry, who has been responsible for writing some of our best performing videos and the videos that we're most proud of as well. The massive documentary bits. A lot of those are written by Justin Henry, who is so just incredible at what he does.
In terms of
History
wrestling,
guy.
first stuff on
Yeah,
camera,
history
wasn't it?
guy.
No better than Justin.
Yeah.
Well, it was my first stuff. Aside from when I did Graded and that, the first documentary stuff was War Stories.
Yep.
And that was, that was all Justin. And then from there, it just grew into Screwed and then the complete history of. He's
Captivating
just-
careers.
Yeah, he's just gone like strength to strength and he's awesome.
He is a
Yeah,
wealth
he's
of knowledge, to say the least.
Yeah,
If you were on £1 million question on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and it happened to be about wrestling and you didn't know it, Justin will know it.
He also does a very helpful thing sometimes in voiceovers where knowing that we are English, if he puts like the name of a city in America that we don't know, he will phonetically then. And that, honestly, I sound like I'm joking, that has saved me.
This is
multiple
because of
ways.
me. This is
Oh.
because of me, right? Was talking whatever voiceover it was, something in Portland, Oregon, and I obviously misread it. I know Oregon as a place. I said Origin.
Ah.
And ever since then, he's started doing that because he didn't think I knew what Oregon was. But I do. But it went out on the channel. And I was like, well, I look like a tit there, understandably. So yeah, Justin came and joined us. We had Jen as well,
Yeah.
Jen Louise, who was just a joy
We
to
knew
work
Jen
with.
already as
yeah,
well.
Yeah.
Just and we, even since like WCBW, when we were talking about doing our own thing, it'd be great to have Jen on
Yeah,
board.
yeah.
And obviously she does her own thing, and she's gone on to be very, very successful in TV production and continues to be excellent at everything she does. But I think those were just so much fun to film. We would film those in batches. So it started off as little 10-minute videos that would go out every day, this day in wrestling. And it's like, okay, maybe it's a bit overkill. We'll do this week in wrestling. And it turned into a long-form, more sort of loose podcast discussion about stuff which would go off the rails every time. And I remember us all just being a little bit sad when we came to the end of that time. It's like, well, we've done every week now. We've done every week now. And it's like, this is a thing that sort of naturally comes to an end because you can't next year do like this week last year in wrestling or something like that. But Jen was just a joy.
I don't know how she stayed so positive throughout, because they were quite long sessions as well.
Yeah.
And every new take we did or every new episode, it was like it was the first one of the day. And she just I've never seen someone get so excited over a birthday of a wrestler than her. She loved a birthday.
Did love a
She
birthday.
presumably still does love a birthday.
Meltzer was a big fan of her.
Meltzer loved her.
Remember her name, like good and proper, the lady with the nice face or something.
Expressive lady with the
Expressive, that was the
face.
word. I was trying to think of it last minute. Trying to think. Yeah,
No, yeah.
That was
lady with the
in-
expressive face.
In the newsletter, wasn't it? Didn't he? I met the lady with the expressive face or something
we got
like that.
mentioned in the newsletter once when we left What Culture.
Sam
Did-
Oliver.
did.
Oh,
He
great
got
colleague,
Sam's name
Sam
wrong.
Oliver,
Yeah, everybody got their name there, and I was like, "There's a write up in the Observer." Oh my god! And I was a little proper smark at the time, and I was like, "Sam Oliver."
Sam
And
Oliver.
I've still got it cut out somewhere at the house. It's I love it.
Oh.
And then we had a lot of editors join us as well. We had Owen.
Yep.
Come on, he's still with us. He is now deputy head of video, and somebody who it's fair to say has just grown and grown and grown. Matt, he's awesome.
He has grown, definitely. He has. Yeah, I don't know anything about editing, but from what I've heard, he's an unbelievably versatile and amazing editor. But Owen had his stuff together from the minute me and Sam met, because me and Sam moved
he
in
lived
with
with
Owen
us,
is
yeah.
when he moved up. We were both looking for a third tenant.
He was
and
taking a
looking for
really big
somewhere to
risk
live.
there.
We could have been.
Yeah.
We could have
What do you
been.
mean?
Well, we could have been anyone.
It's just
He
so,
could-
we could have
we
been
could have
like,
been-
you know.
it could have been like the League of Gentlemen or something.
Yeah.
Shut the door. Welcome, Owen. It could have been awful. It was his first time moving away from home as well. His
Yeah.
first time moving away from Liverpool. And immediately I could just tell, I mean, how much younger is Owen than us? A good 5 years, maybe more.
Yeah,
I could just
probably a
tell,
bit
you're so young and yet you have your life together so much better than I do. Because then I ended up living with him once Sam had moved out as well. The easiest housemate I've ever had to get on with.
Far from perfect, though, Liverpool fan. He
Liverpool
get on.
fan.
Far from perfect. But outside that, he's become a smug arse on the quiz videos as well. He puts them together and like seeing people
He's
squirm.
good on camera now,
He
yeah.
is,
Yeah.
He can do it all. The little man can.
He can.
It's the second time I've said little man.
The little man.
They're pretty much
But
the same
it's
height as me.
like I think when he came in, it was just sort of we had to just throw so much at him that he had to just learn everything, like and really quickly. So yeah, it's just been like an absolute pleasure to watch as an editor. Watch another editor just kind of come in and flourish massively.
for sure.
Yeah,
And well done for not fritzling him.
Yeah.
Good job.
we didn't even have a basement.
If you did, though, he'd be down there.
We had an enclosed outdoor garden area.
Don't say
Oh, you
anything.
could have bloody wested him. No.
Oh my God.
We had Andrew join us as well, and Andrew, you talk about growth and it's one of the things that I'm going to miss more than anything else is doing the on-camera stuff with Andrew because the WWE predictions and then the live streams, we genuinely have a ball. It's one of the. It never feels like work being sat next to Andrew and just messing about. I think we've got quite a similar sense of humour, and he's brilliant. Absolutely tremendous. I feel like we've got to go through every name now, don't we? We definitely have to. I was trying to do it in sort of chronological order.
One thing that, just to mention about Andrew there, I think you told me this. Apparently he taught himself to edit in like a ridiculously short space of time.
Yeah.
And just picked it up.
Decided he wanted the job, applied for both Triple Jump and Cultaholic. Cultaholic got there first, sorry. He was working at Tesco at the time, I believe, and he'd done a degree in music production or something music, and then decided, I want to do this. Again, another leap of faith. Like half of our office have moved across the country to come and work for us. Still here now, still just such a pleasure to work with. I'm going to go through every name. Let's play word association.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Preface this saying, massive thank you. It's been a joy to work with all of these people who I'm now about to name one by one, and hopefully nice words come out of these three's mouth.
All right, okay.
Aidan Gibbons.
Oh, Aiden's just like a revelation to me because obviously I've been downstairs in a separate office, but then we got to London to all in, and then I realised that both of us are proper big comic book nerds.
Yeah.
So me and him
funny.
go on
He's
this.
an
I was
enigma.
going to say
We go on to
hilarious.
this like
Yeah.
divert to like Notting Hill to this really rare comic shop he's heard of, and it was like the most amazing afternoon ever.
Aiden's, for those who don't know, Aiden's the editor of the website, and takes such a, because some days doing wrestling news, I imagine some days are far more eventful than others. And if it's a slow news day, Aiden tackles that with a certain gallows humour that really makes us crack up in the office, those who sit near him.
funny.
His catchphrase at the minute is "kids love whatever." Recently he said, "Kids love Mr. Iguana," but sometimes it's
Right.
like kids love Freddie Blassie. It's applied all the time.
We've just done Andrew. Any other words that you want to throw Andrew
Leap of
Hopkins' way?
Faith's the one, because when we came out of lockdown, it was me and him doing prediction stuff, and we were doing more like sketchy stuff leading into predictions competition. I remember chucking a bucket of gravy over him from the window to him down below. He's willing to do anything, that
he's
man.
fearless.
He's fearless.
Yeah,
He's fantastic.
Andrew Kelly, who you maybe haven't worked with directly. Andrew Kelly is a writer at the weekend and covers the Saturday and Sunday morning shifts. Aidan is probably best placed to give a nice word about Andrew Kelly.
Kids love Andrew Kelly.
Kids love Andrew Kelly. I feel like he honestly, he's been a professional, reliable, and brilliant.
He's really easy to work with
Yeah,
whenever I've happened to, but
and
unfortunately I haven't too much.
despite the fact that he's only working Saturdays and Sundays, he'll pop up sometimes midweek with a big bit of wrestling news or help him with lists, putting them together. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. Jack Atkins.
Feral is a word that he uses often to describe things, and I feel he's a close second to Richard Tubman, or maybe joint for the coolest man in the office.
If you
Until
call
he
him
obviously
cool.
works remotely now
And
from
he's
back
straight
home.
edge.
And he's proper straight
He's a
edge.
miserable old get, but he's the most lovable man. Once you
He's-
break him down a bit, because that beard's like a shield, like a suit of armor. Once you get through the beard, then you're in.
But I
He's
called him
delightful.
cool once, and he just looked at me like I had like 5 heads, and it was like
I know.
it was very. He's also immaculately dressed like
Yeah.
Richard Tubman. He's just coolest. Wealth of
He
knowledge.
Is very, very great at writing in different ways, but he's a very funny writer as well.
Yeah.
Dan the Man Heppel.
Heppel.
Your Hepmeister.
What
Hepatitis B.
more can you say? Like Dan,
Bishop Muzariwa.
given like if you look at the jumping quality from Screwed to the complete history of WWE, that's Dan Heppel. Like Dan Heppel's the most dedicated like sort of film guy.
Yeah, my
I
word for him was going to be director.
Like he's so like knowledgeable when it comes to anything that I can't like articulate about editing or something. He's like, oh yeah, it's this, and he just knows. He's worked in and around film before. He's a filmmaker in his own right. He's making
He's a
documentaries.
perfectionist,
He's a
but-
perfectionist,
Yeah.
and he's
Which is weird when he's working with us.
Yeah.
Because I must have drove him up the wall.
If you need someone, if you want to make sure your sound and lighting and everything's spot on, get Dan to do it because he's
also
that's what he's
just
good
the life of the party.
He's funny.
Yeah.
Oh
He's
my
so
Funniest guy.
funny.
Like
He works from home now,
Yeah.
and his presence is sorely missed in
He
the
wa-
office because he's such a laugh.
on a, I think it was just the pub once. He said to me, he was like, "We should be me and you should be the Ibiza boys." I went, "What do you mean?" And he went, "Should we just go to Ibiza and then we can be the Ibiza boys?" I was like, yeah, guess so. Joel's cracking up behind the camera.
Are you an Ibiza boy?
No, it was just me and Dan. It was our thing. I was like, Dan had never been. He was like, I have. It was a rip-off. I was like, oh, okay.
Emma.
Emma is somebody who works remotely, and I think she has a significant challenge there in the fact that we're all so close as an editing team in proximity, right? That we can just sort of be up, popping around, like looking at each other's stuff if somebody needs guidance on something. Emma has just come in and understood the style and absolutely flourished with it. And whenever she got to come to All In with us, and it was amazing getting to go on a trip and actually spend a lot of time as a team with Emma. But yeah, like Emma has really shone in spite of the fact that she's all those miles away.
It's tough, isn't it?
It's really tough.
But it's always so nice. Like when she comes up for the Christmas party and everything,
Yeah.
you sort of, the next day you're thinking, oh, I wish Emma was about
Yeah.
like, in the office.
She's the sort of person who, like, in the, again, limited times I've met her, makes you laugh so much. Makes you feel like you're instantly like one of her good mates. And it's just,
Yeah, and it's a difficult position, isn't it? When you don't work like in a room with somebody coming up for the Christmas party, there'll be people there that she hasn't met before, but she's so much fun.
Yeah.
Brilliant. A guy that we had in for work experience, little Fraser Porter.
Great at cleaning toilets with toothbrushes.
Yeah, we'll move on. No, Fraser's obviously great. And we're going to say the same thing about everyone here. This isn't really word association, is it?
No, Fraser. no, I'm being honest.
Nah, Fraser.
I only say that because I do feel like Fraser's one of the people who's like I've become closest to in the office. But he, I met him first when he was, I think, 17. And we were not like that. And we were working at, I know what he's up to. And we were working at What Culture. And he, off his own back, brought himself down to do media at a WCBW event and just interviewed us and stuff. And I remember thinking, he must work for some outlet or something. He was so, you know, Fraser's so professional and so like camera ready instantly and everything. No, he just done that. He's a grafter.
He's really switched on.
Very
really
much,
switched
really
on.
intelligent.
That, and I met his mum and dad, and they're really nice.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Nice.
Lovely family.
Did they confirm that Peebles is a real place? Because I still refuse to
Peebles
believe
is a real place, and it's quite nice and hilly, and it's really lovely. It was kind of frosty when we were up there because it was around the time of the Rumble. It was nice.
Jack King. No, we'll skip us. We'll skip us. He's right there, Joel. This is alphabetical order, by the way.
I was going to use versatile for you, Joel. Yeah. Are you all right with that? Are you all right with that? Do you want to get in?
Joe, I'm going to look you in the eye and say you are like a blossoming flower in the spring. After a winter of growth, you continue to blossom every day.
Sam?
I love you, Joe.
I think it's been amazing watching you go from being an editor to being somebody who's kind of put into a position gently on camera to now being such an integral part of the podcast.
Oh, he's got his own like fan club of the viewership of the podcast.
You've just sort of smashed it every step of the way. So thank you.
Justin, we've already spoken about. Excellent guy. Next up is the dragon himself, Lewis Chambers.
Oh my God.
Beardsley
Former tag partner of
House.
Pac.
Legitimate former tag partner of Pac. Lewis is someone that we first met at What Culture, and then we all went our separate ways, and then
The handsomest man in the world.
it's annoying.
Yeah.
Cool. We were talking about cool before.
He can
It's a
just
power
dress
trio-
like a
it's a trio of
cowboy.
him,
he
Tubman, and
he can just
Atkin.
dress like a cowboy, and it looks like it works.
I bumped into him by chance last time because obviously now he lives in Czech Republic. But last time he was over, or Czechia as it's called now, I believe. He was over here over Christmas. I just happened to bump into him. He looks more like a cowboy and more handsome.
Yeah.
And he's getting older.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
No, it's not fair at all.
He was with some of his mates from school, and I'd had a few drinks, and I was like,
And he's got
Is
like,
he, what's like when he wasn't listening? I was
Yeah.
like, why is he so what's handsome for? And they were like, we know.
at least it's not just us.
Yeah, and it's not
Yeah.
just us.
Lewis is solely responsible for making me sound funny on list voiceovers. He writes, 80-90% of them. I don't want to say solely funny, but if you hear a joke about Hulk Hogan especially, but if you hear me being funny in a list voiceover, which is a rarity, then Lewis is probably responsible for that, and I'll forever be grateful to Lewis. But I've realised we're halfway through this list, right? It's making it sound like all of these I'm leaving, aren't I? Anyway, Luke Osborne.
Luke, can I say something about Luke? Because he's the editor on, I think, every weirdest episode that we've done so far. I think he, not that I'm saying that he'd necessarily be better than anyone else at doing it, but his specific editing rhythm and sense of humor has made me look so good on that series. And I always try and mention him by name in each episode because he really deserves credit for that. He's very creative indeed.
Yep, full of ideas.
Incredibly passionate, just
really
about
passionate.
wrestling,
Loves
about
wrestling.
editing, about he's also a DJ. Like he does so
got
much.
so many DJs.
He does so much, Luke. And he's just I think just creative to the core. Like he has like an art degree and stuff.
Yeah, he's a proper-
another
he's
person
proper
who
creative.
came into video while doing something completely different.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. Matt, now working remotely, initially was down here in Newcastle.
Yeah, my
and it's
tag
another person
partner.
I'd miss.
He was my tag partner for the longest time on War Stories. Him and me sort of started that slower documentary style, and then he ended up taking half of Golden Age. We've sort of just worked in tandem a lot on the bigger projects. Like Matt has been a bit of a revelation. I think like he's somebody who, again, incredibly versatile, has been able to adapt to everything thrown at him, and I think he really found his rhythm, and he really found his style. You can tell a Matt list. You can always tell. Well, we can tell all the editors sort of by a look, but like Matt's lists have like a really distinct look and a distinct method of layering and stuff. And I'm really proud of him.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
We've talked about Owen Pierce.
Piers,
Love
oh
Piers.
man, Piers is class. He's
Love
been in
'em all.
Japan twice now, though, in the last year, and I'm very jealous. Piers is, again, like all of our editing team have just managed to come in and understand sort of the weird style with which we work. Like we'd love to be able to use footage. We'd love to be able to do so much more in terms of that side of things. But like it's hard sometimes for people to get their head around it. But Piers, again, just managed to grasp it and run with it.
Pierce is so, just from the most things I've worked with him on are usually the What Happened At videos, which means late nights watching a pay-per-view. And then I always feel so bad because I've finished my voiceover, hand it off to him, and I'll stick around and he'll cut down my audio. And then he'll go, that's all fine. Off
And
you
he's sat
go.
there for 2 more
And
hours.
I'm like, and then waiting for it to export. And I just think he just takes, like you said about Matt Stewart, he takes everything thrown at him. And also, we really threw him in the deep end in that recent Glasgow trip because he had to be on camera with me, Fraser, and Owen, who have varying levels of on-camera experience. Pierce had basically none and was still a great addition, to that video, so can't give him enough credit for that.
He's an oracle as well, knows everything.
Yes.
Any question you throw at him, he knows the answer.
Japanese pronunciations.
Yeah.
Wrestlers. I used to go to Sam. Rubbish.
Yeah.
Absolutely rubbish.
Wow.
Pierce is my go-to now. Richard, we talked about. Ross is sat right there. Ryan as well. Been here for a few years now. He does a lot of list edits, but the occasional true story edit as well. And he's just another person who's grown and is like great.
Never seen Ryan break a sweat about anything. He's
You
incredibly
talk about
laid back.
cool as well.
Yeah.
Don't leave Ryan out of that conversation.
Not in front of Joel, though. Joel will get jealous if we talk about how cool Ryan is.
Ryan's cooler than Joel, I would
The one
say.
thing
Joel and Ryan, for those who don't, Joel and Ryan knew each other before they joined together. So they're like a tag team.
The one thing there's a couple of things. I like, obviously an incredibly versatile editor, as you said. A fantastic air fry cookbook author that we managed to convince you of for ages.
Well, I came in and congratulated him. They did a photo.
Bizarre humour.
They did a Photoshop of Ryan
no.
holding a book, and it was like, oh, Ryan's an author as well.
And
He's
then
got like 50 best
I
air
had
fryer
to go-
recipes, and it looks so real.
It was feasible.
I had to go do news, and they were like, Sam's going to tell him. And I just
we
didn't. I kept
we
it
were
up.
leaving messages of congratulations in the chat. Oh, well done, Ryan. So proud of you.
I came in, pat on the shoulder, nice one, mate. I hope it's a bestseller.
I remember after
and nobody in the office told
No.
me. All completely silent. Just
And then after it came out, I think Andrew was the ringleader behind this rib.
Yeah.
And after it all came out and everyone had a laugh about it, I remember Ashton, Triple Jump Ashton, so like had a quiet word and went, were you like a bit genuinely annoyed by that? And I was like, I was with you. And then she was like, me too. I was like,
The one thing as well I remember was before you even started, the pair of you even started, I bumped into you on like record store day at like Monument. And I'm like trying to run the windows to get some records. And then I was like, we're doing drinks like tomorrow because the weather's going to be really good and it's my birthday. Come along. And then you just came along and met the team, but everybody had to. It was like sort of the first day at the office, but it was just.
I think it
over
was your
pints.
birthday.
Yeah.
Because I remember you got a bit drunk and kicked a dog ball over.
I stepped in a dog bowl.
Booted it. Clang. It was
It
brilliant.
was also 6.9% that beer.
Oh
whatever
yeah,
it
I'm
was.
not
It was
blaming you.
delicious.
But it was like when Austin hit Vince with the bedpan. It was brilliant.
I had a
noise.
big,
It was so good.
wet patch up my leg for a good hour and a half.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Great memory. Sam is right here. So we finished with Tom.
Oh,
Oh,
what
man.
I mean, come on.
Like
On
consummate
cocaine,
professional.
Campbell never let you down. No, we say that because there's work ethic, then there's whatever Tom is.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Yeah,
word
Tom
is.
is the
It's,
embodiment of it. I think like he's just again like if you need anything doing and Tom is capable of doing it, it's already done. Like it's like the man is so dedicated to everything.
We've had to get him to slow down sometimes.
Yeah, like he's so dedicated to everything that like he at short notice took up Great North Run and then smashed it. Like he come from the world of radio, like his presenting style. I think we weren't like presenters. I think until we met Tom,
Tom's a
and
natural.
we sort of started learning more about how we kind of think about cadence or how you sort of stack stuff and like Tom's just. He was a revelation, wasn't he? Like
He's
he
good at
was a
so
really
many
big
things,
thing
man.
for us.
Like I still maintain in my opinion, the two best play-by-play commentators in the UK are Tom and Dave Bradshaw.
Oh, yeah.
Tom is the best ring announcer.
Oh, flat.
If you go to a wrestling show and Tom's the ring announcer, you're in for a good night. He's like the compare. He smashes everything he does, and is always so uplifting. Though even in the office, even though he should by all rights be asleep,
Yeah,
he just keeps everyone smiling.
All the energy, and he does all the classic reviews. I have a lot of fun with it. He puts up with a lot of my crap, where I just go off on made-up conspiracies about Eric Bischoff being like a Soviet agent, like, and he'll just roll with it and keep talking about Goldberg. You know, it's.
Why have you been reading your diary instead of reading the classic?
I don't actually watch the Nitros.
I agree with what Sam just mentioned there. In that, I think we all grew as presenters after taking Tom on because he is so good at what he does. And the other thing, I always say this when anybody asks about Tom, I always say that it's not an act. He's as nice as he is on camera as he is off camera. He is a legitimately good guy.
Every single one of my friends that's met him has gone, second Tom gets up and he's like, he'll be lovely, be like, oh, do you want a drink? They'll go get a drink for somebody. And then they'll go, that man's a serial killer. And I'm like, no, he's lovely. Like, he's absolutely lovely. Like, it's not an act.
That's everyone's first reaction.
It's not like there's no, but everybody's like, there's no way he's that happy. And it's like, just spend an hour with him.
Right, he's brought it around. No, he's brought it around. He's brought it
Right,
around.
and it was like
around.
Gacy sort of charming and
No, as in like they're thinking like, oh, there's no way he can be that happy. And it's like,
He had us
spend
in
an
the
hour with
first
him,
half.
and then when
brought
you spend an hour with Tom, it's like, oh no, he's just genuinely that positive,
Yes.
and he's a massively positive person to just be around at any point in your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in the workplace especially, like it's like Tom's amazing, obviously. So yeah, I don't know what that turned into. That was meant to be sort of me saying goodbye to people who I've enjoyed across the board working with, and it turned into a weird.
I'm glad we did that.
Yeah, I'm glad we
because
did
it's
that
been
as
about
well.
time that we've actually said why everyone's so brilliant on the channel.
Yeah, and those people will continue to be brilliant on the channel for sure. So not sure we're doing this in like complete chronological order, but one of the big moments in the early days of Cultaholic was beating the WrestleTwats.
Yeah.
Was it Mania?
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam.
yeah.
Apologies, and it was down to Alexa Bliss. Is that right?
Ronda,
Right, Alexa
Rousey.
Bliss.
Ronda.
Ronda Rousey saved our souls.
That was an absolute roller coaster because we went one down, and I remember, I think I'm right in saying that at the time I was quite clued up on the cruiserweight division. It might have been before you'd started doing 205 Live.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, lads, like this one's definitely going to win. And it was my fault, and it all went wrong. And I was like, I've just cost us that. We're going to have to do that stupid punishment. And so miraculously, the other match was Strowman versus Owens
Who won that one? Owens.
Strowman.
Oh,
for Money in the Bank.
oh right, yeah. I didn't remember
And
that.
in the end, it all came down to that Ronda Bliss match, which was so funny because it was such a squash. It was so good. It was really, really funny.
Fair play to WrestleTalk, by the way, for that
Yeah.
punishment. You may not have seen it, but they
were on Segways.
They were on Segway. They did this dance routine
Yeah.
thing, and they went all out. And like, if we had lost,
We
we'd
would have gone all out.
No, we would have got funny costumes. I don't know if we'd have got Segways. they really, I think they did themselves proud in there, and it was a really fun thing to do. Another thing that happened quite early on in the. During the company's like growth was the Adpocalypse stuff, and so it impacted us. Like we went from a rough situation to a situation that could have quite easily killed us. The Adpocalypse thing, if you're unfamiliar, it's WWE superstar Logan Paul made a decision to go to a forest in Japan. You know what it's about,
story.
but the
Yeah.
impact that had was monumental on us, to the point that we were worried about saying something like, oh man, that match was dead good, wasn't it? Because
Yeah.
you've said the word dead in it. And things are a little easier now. You still have to be quite careful, but it changed the entire landscape for us. And that was another time that massively we relied on the generosity of people on Patreon, and because we were getting videos demonetized left, right, and center.
It changed what we wanted this place to be, because initially people who were there at the launch, we had the 10 rules.
Yep.
This is what we're going to be. Just basically saying we're not going to be what culture turned into in the final sort of days of our tenure there. And then that happened and sort of made our 10 rules just not possible anymore.
Yeah.
And then sort of struggled through coming to terms with this whole new world that we didn't quite know we were launching into.
And we appreciated the people who were really understanding about that. It was literally a case of, okay, we need to adapt to these new rules or we don't have jobs anymore. And there are people relying on us for an income. And we continue to grow in spite of that. Unfortunately, things are a little bit better now, but it did change YouTube forever. And I agree. I think there are things that we wish we could have done differently. And I don't want to just be like, well, our hands were tied or anything like that. But it's a very, very difficult landscape to navigate. And we truly did our best.
Yeah.
And honestly say that. And the whole time, it's been a case of doing our best and trying to give people what we want in very difficult circumstances sometimes.
I think it was 3 months straight. We just had zero income. There were no adverts. There were no real adverts running across the entire platform, and that was I think the second point where I was like, this could potentially be it. It was terrifying time to be a creator on the platform. So like the fact that we managed to navigate through it, not without some stress, and the fact that people were appreciative of the situation we were in and understood that maybe we would have to move away from some of those earlier promises. It meant a lot that we were able to keep pushing forward.
It was great timing because obviously the Blompier situation happens, then the launch, and then 2 months after the launch, what we thought we were launching into just completely changes.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been a better start for the company, really, when looking back.
Fortunately, beginning of 2020, things really did pick up. As COVID hit, we just got nicely settled into the office. We got all these lovely shooting spaces.
We did the
that
test
nice
recording
couch
here.
and stream and-
This new room, we did the test record. I'm sure it was either the Friday before or the Monday, and then that following Wednesday, either 2 days after that Monday or a few more days after that Friday, everyone went home, so we couldn't use it.
Just briefly on the topic of the layout of the office, can I ask a piece of internal Cultaholic lore that I don't know?
Yeah.
Why is the juggling room called? The juggling room is what we refer to as the room you see on news videos shot in.
yeah.
It's kind of an all-purpose room, the news video shot there. It's called the juggling room.
Tom did a stream on Twitch one like Wednesday afternoon or something like that, where he said that he was, I think, going to learn to juggle in the space of 2 hours.
Impossible
I
with his
see.
little hand.
I see where this is going.
I don't think he successfully juggled. He might have done 3. He might have done 3 at a push. Sorry if I've disrespected you, Tom. Then it just became the juggle. You not know that?
Did he then call it the juggling room?
Right.
No, I think we all
did.
did. We all
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
Tom's
it was
in the juggling. I think there was a thing. It's like we need to film a news video. No,
Tom's in the juggling
Tom's in the juggling room. as it
Quite
became-
good.
Yeah.
I like that now.
Yeah, so that's the reason it's called the juggling room.
Ah.
COVID, we all shifted back to working from home.
Yeah.
Stupid late night streams from me for 3 odd months, watching some of. I'm glad the TV existed to watch and everything, but some of the weirdest, at least, wrestling shows you've ever seen.
Did you ever get on the Thunderdome screens?
Yeah, twice.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I got on once and managed to
Oh, yeah.
last one of those.
What's that?
Did my dance. They didn't kick me off straight away for that. But then, as soon as this might have been the second time, I held up a sign that said "Push Mojo," and there was obviously some sort of facial recognition thing built into it. So as soon as your face wasn't on there, then it went, no, they're messing about, kick me off. But it got on SmackDown or whatever show it was, and then I was permanently IP banned from the Thunderdome. And yeah, it's when we ramped up the Twitch output as well. Like that was certainly the catalyst for doing more stuff on Twitch, which I think has been fun for everyone involved as well. We do like regular streams away from wrestling, and to me that's been like some of the most fun stuff that I've done. Not that I still do really enjoy talking about wrestling, and I don't want to like sit here and people think I've just been pretending, because that's really not been the case. I'm less passionate about it than I was a few years ago, for sure. Still really enjoy it, but the Tuesday streams that I've been doing, and some of the weird little streams as well, they've been so much fun. We did the geocaching stuff.
Magnet fishing.
Oh my God.
Magnet fishing. Always wanted to get to a car boot, but couldn't figure out the technology. And I'm like, Jack, I don't want to walk around with a GoPro or a
No, that's
selfie stick
Ross.
or something like that. Sorry, Ross.
But I'm the same also.
So those have been amazing, and I appreciate.
The geocaching stream I was so excited for. I changed my name on Twitter that day to Jack the Geocacher. I was so excited. And then we went around that park, and then you made me talk to 2 girls because it was on a bench under their seat. And then you were like, go and ask them then. And I was like, the geocache was stuck under.
Oh, you had to shift them off,
and then
right?
but then I think I approached them, they were having a pizza, and you were like, he's trying to have some of your pizza. I was like, brilliant.
Sorry.
No, it was all for the stream, you know.
But I'm really proud of the community that we've built on Twitch, and especially, like, as much as they wind me up, I'm so thankful that people are still, for some reason, tuning into Tuesday streams with me watching old British TV shows. And really, it's worth reiterating that that's one of the few things that I won't be doing anymore. But everything else is still going to exist. Like, we'll have different people doing different things. Familiar faces to you for the most part, I think the plan is. But Sam, you're going to be taking over on the list voiceovers and stuff like that. The stuff that people enjoy and that pays the bills, it's not going anywhere.
No, there's still obviously going to be news. There's still everything that you know and you're used to on the channel is still going to be there. As I said, it's just going to be for a little while anyway, until we settle into a rhythm. It's going to be maybe a couple of faces you're not expecting to be in places you don't expect them to be. But ultimately, like everything, we're looking forward to just pushing forward with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, this is very much, this is goodbye from me, but this is not goodbye from Cultaholic in any way, shape or form. And some of the stuff that I know is in the works already is like, it's going to turn into your favorite stuff on the channel because there's some amazing stuff coming. A few other things to talk about, like, so just some of the stuff that we've done over the years. We've had a fair few trips, thanks to WWE and AEW for putting on more UK shows.
Yeah.
You guys did Vegas.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have had an extra day, Tony. But it was
more of a Conrad decision.
Yeah,
I
Conrad,
believe.
but yeah, Las Vegas was
That's
that
the one
was a
time we've all
whirlwind.
properly fallen out.
We fell out.
Yeah.
Everyone was jet lagged and
Jet
knackered
lagged, and we'd been up all night shooting stuff,
was-
and then we had to
yeah.
get up early, and then it was handbags at dawn a
We
bit.
got it together at the end.
Yeah,
and
we
then
got married.
And then
We did get married. Happy times.
I fell out with the man behind us at the.
He was being annoying. To be
Okay,
fair.
yeah, cool.
He was being
Oh,
really
I don't think
annoying.
I've heard
I
this.
told, it's the most embarrassed I've been since doing this in public. There was a couple of guys behind us. They were annoying. They were really annoying. And it got to the main event, and the joke they kept doing was just like, kill him, but for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
They just kept doing it, and eventually I just.
And they're like 45, 50 rows back, so they can't even
And I
be heard
can't
on
remember
TV.
who it was, but someone like creaked the door open slightly and went, "Sorry, can you just?" And I jumped.
Oh, this
after.
isn't a wrestling show.
No, this is Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, right,
This
yeah,
was-
sorry,
This
right.
was during Kenny versus Jericho in the ring. Wait, Kenny versus Jericho? Yes. And someone, I don't know if it was Sam or Ross or someone around us, but someone went, "Can you actually just keep it down?" And I just followed them, and I went, "Yeah, actually, you should, please."
Oh!
Really angry. And
got
as
it.
Ross said when I told this story recently on the podcast, the initial part was fine, but I kind of just kept going.
Yeah.
It was fine, yeah.
But it did get cheered by the people around us. I think everybody was a bit sick of
And
it.
everyone
Yeah.
cheered. And the whole bus applauded me.
You're
No way, no!
Orlando, I was lucky enough to do with the 2K
Yeah.
stuff, and it was one of the few times that I managed to meet some of the US-based creators who we all admire as well. Stephen Larson, saw them there.
Wow,
and it
man.
was-
Saw them in Vegas. It was so
so
nice.
man.
They're
Yeah.
beautiful
They're
men,
class.
aren't
Professional.
they? They're so nice. We were finishing up the UK side of content creation. We're finishing up their meal, and then the US side were coming in to take the table. I was like, oh, I'm with the wrong group. No disrespect to any of the UK lot. Rubbish. Little slugs compared to and I got a brief chance to chat to them, and there were a few other people there who I greatly admire as well, and that was awesome. Cardiff. Who did Cardiff?
Me, Tom, Owen. Who was it?
Wasn't me.
It was God.
I'm still paying for that ticket now.
Tom, Owen.
Andrew. It was Andrew.
Andrew.
It was
Yeah,
Andrew.
me, Tom, Owen, Andrew, I believe was the team. But yeah, we one of the only times that we've been able to go into a WWE stadium or arena with a camera approved by WWE to get footage of WWE events. We had a great time meeting so many people. First time I've been to Cardiff, like not as a kid, so it was interesting getting to know some of the bars of Cardiff. I know that you had
You were
a
a big
good
fan
time
of
at
the
Tiny
Rebel
Rebel.
over the
yeah.
road. Yes. My
but-
favourite brewery, if they're watching. They're the best. I
Look us
love
up.
you.
You just had a beer sponsor on the podcast.
Are they the ones who did the really sour one?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
But we, like Cardiff was a bit of a blur. I remember like having to get to hotel. It's always the same when you do WWE presses, but it'd be like 6 a.m. hotel call, interviews at 7 a.m. And then it's my first ever interview was Liv Morgan. And then it was Tom who had written the questions for me. I'd written the questions for Tom.
That's a big ask for a first interview.
Second was Rhea Ripley, and I had to ask her if she choked me. So that was like,
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
you did yourself proud there.
I did.
That was a very good.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Sam interview.
Yeah,
ever.
it's
really
You
good.
were really brave.
Yeah.
Because like I would have wilted if I had to be like.
I was going to say the
What-
tone.
she could have battered me.
what do you
She could have
think-
absolutely
Yeah,
battered
what was
me.
the context
No,
again?
it was like Sam was having to say something like, "Have you seen like the weird stuff people say on Twitter about you?" And she's like, "Yeah, I love it," and it just worked really well.
Yeah.
Sam had good chemistry with Rhea Ripley.
The
as well. I know.
context, the
I know.
context was it was like a Google
choke me,
autofill, and it was like,
But she was like,
it'd be like, what is
I was
Rhea
rather
Ripley?
right,
Like, will Rhea Ripley? And I think the third question was, will Rhea Ripley? And it was autofilled to choke me.
Right. It wasn't you.
It wasn't me. It was
Camera
all of
stops
you.
rolling.
It was all of you horn dogs out there on Google.
But you loved it.
Yeah.
It's a great interview. Yeah.
London in 2023, Wembley.
Yeah.
Were you down for that one?
Yeah. A lot of us were down, but I was working it. I was part of the team working it there with Pierce, with oh my god, I've done what Sam's done there with Pierce, Luke, and Atkins.
Yeah.
I couldn't speak highly enough. I remember specifically saying to you when we got back, I was like, they've all been amazing.
Yeah.
It was an unusual sort of combination of us, I think, but it kind of worked. Luke weaved some of his magic and just got us that Osprey interview that went out on the channel, which is like directly after his match at the Rev Pro show. So he's still in his gear. Interviews always look better when they're just sweaty and topless. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And that was all down to Luke. Even though I know Osprey, Luke somehow knew him more.
And you got tendies out of it.
Got chicken tenders as well.
Nice.
You slut.
I know the woman was like, as we were like, we thought she was coming to kick us out the venue. She was like, "There's some catering left over there if you want." We were like, "Oh, fantastic." Sat next to Pierce in the Wembley show itself, watching all in, and we were getting heckled because a couple of people clocked onto me, and there was 3 separate groups behind us: Mancunians, Australians, and Scots, and together they formed like this big drunk ball. And the
horrible
Australian lads in
coalition.
particular were just, I was trying so hard not to laugh, but they could see like his shoulders are going, look at him go. Someone pulled out a table, and then one of them just for some reason went, no, in the ring and down in the ring. Someone pulled out a table, and one of the Aussies behind us just went, classic Adam Pacitti. I don't know why.
What does that mean?
Made me lose my mind. I was on the floor. It was so funny.
Glasgow as well. Glasgow.
Well, this is marred in controversy because Jack felled a man in Glasgow. What was his name, Joel? I've forgotten.
Gary.
Gary.
I remember
Gary.
it.
Rest in peace, Gary.
Have you not seen my push on Gary?
Yeah, sorry. No, I cut that video. Didn't I? Yeah. Sorry, Gary. That nutter.
Glasgow was me, Fraser, Owen, and Pierce. We did that challenge video, which I really, despite not being too comfortable vlogging in public, had a blast filming. And that is the most chaotic video I've ever done, that one. The
Bonkers.
angry WWE fans react to Drew losing to Damien Priest.
Yeah.
Gary's my favourite sort of side character of the Cultaholic universe we've ever had.
Yeah, we should get him in. Good
Oh,
replacement,
my
eh?
God, we should get him in.
He's in heaven now. God bless.
No, Gary kept on intruding upon the video slightly after his turn. And I don't think I actually make contact with him. But I do a bit of like
He
a
did.
Jonah Lomu stiff arm.
Kamehameha?
No, like a stiff like a stiff arm.
Yeah.
It was not too bad.
I like that you prefaced that with Jonah Lomu.
Jonah Lomu
You were like,
stuff,
it was perfectly flawless
Yeah.
in execution.
Gary was brilliant. That video, you can ask Owen, I've never been so downcast after a video before. I was like, we're going to have to send this to Adam and he's not going to be able to get a video out of it. Somehow you cobbled it together.
Yeah, it was.
Jen saved us. She added a few extra minutes on.
God bless
turning up
drunken
at the
Jen.
end. Yeah.
Pissed as a fart.
The bloke, I don't know if she's his friend, if they were friends or if he just happens to be stood next to her in the crowd. Watch that video back. The guy next to Jen is off his lips.
Is he?
He keeps on going like, it's unbelievable. Like I go like, yeah, there's no way we thought that Drew was going to lose, and he just goes, no way. It's really, really good.
I need to watch that
Oh,
back.
it's so good.
I remember
He
the
just
footage coming through and
clicked
just like, oh no.
It was
This is going to be a rough half
a
hour.
lot of chanting and swearing.
There was. I said we'd circle back to some of the punishments, and I forgot to do that. Scott Steiner,
Oh.
you.
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
You were with me when you
I
shot
was.
that.
We were down in London.
Do you know
We
how
just filmed some 2K stuff or something like that. We
It
were
was-
down in London for
I
something.
don't think it was the 2K one. I think it was the World of Sport launch.
Yeah.
Because we had
Yeah,
to
it was.
leave that party early because I had to get my Scott Steiner suit on. That might be the most nervous I've been for one. You remember how uncomfortable I was?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Central London as well.
King's Cross?
Oh, yeah, like approaching rush hour, all the people just wanting to get on their train and not be bothered by a man dressed as Scott Steiner.
I was
It's
asking
hard.
people to join my society because I had to cut a
Yeah,
CM
you were
Punk
CM Punk
promo.
as well.
There was one girl who was well up for it. She was like, "Yeah, of course. What's it for?" I hadn't thought that far ahead. I was like,
Amazing. 10 hours. Sorry, go on.
The blessing in disguise of King's Cross is that people just kind of expect that sort of behaviour outside
yeah,
King's
fair
Cross.
enough, isn't
It would have been worse in Newcastle for certain.
10 hours of Matt Hardy.
Bloody hell, that's one of the first ones.
Yeah.
I've actually, we had a little clear up me and Aiden the other day, and in one of the cupboards was Holly Hagen is his surname, was Geordie Shaw.
Oh, the Middlesbrough one.
Had an autobiography for me to pass the time on that stream. And it was in the back of a cupboard.
I remember painting your face up, and I remember you eventually just like putting the book on your face and opening a different page and putting the book on your face.
This
So
wasn't
that
when you
book will
were
just be full of facial imprints of the Bulgarian
This wasn't when
flag
you
or
were a
whatever.
dog.
No, that was different. When I think Tobias, I think was his name, from Germany, sent me a baked bean pizza.
Oh yeah.
I got
Wait,
that.
when was he a dog? What does that
It was-
mean?
it was-
We
in a
put him in
cage.
the little.
I was ill for
crate.
I lost a predictions competition, but was
You
ill.
were
so
both
couldn't
meant to be
do.
in the cage.
Yeah.
I was in a cage at one point.
Yeah, with me, but I was filling in for Ross because you were both meant to be in the cage.
Right, gotcha,
Did the
gotcha,
stream,
gotcha.
yeah.
I remember answering the Deliveroo's downstairs, and he went, "It's for Ross the dog." Genuinely. And it took me a second. I was like, "No, there's no."
Oh, there is a Ross dog. Yeah.
There is a Ross the
That
dog.
Matt Hardy one, though, issues with sleeping tablets after that. I had a result of that. Just knocked me out. Every time I
Oh,
closed
wow.
my eyes, I'd see him going, oh. Wouldn't hear it, surprisingly.
They're
Wouldn't
rough.
see him. Yeah, it was
The
rough.
long ones are rough, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, well, you can talk to that a bit more, can't you?
Yeah. So I've done. Is it 6? I think it's 6.
Six
Hell in
Hell in
a
a Smells
Smells.
now, yeah.
The most recent one, a couple of months ago now.
Yeah.
And that lasted 69 hours. So the problem with those is the first one. If memory serves, it was just me in a room with a fish.
Yeah.
Just sat there, sleep deprived, 24 hours, fish. Sometimes put it on my head. I think I might have kissed it at one point. You've got to
rest.
make it bigger, haven't you? So the next one, octopus. That's a bit more visually like.
Yeah. When that was on your head, it was a bit
Visceral.
minging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, correct me if I'm wrong here, horse poop?
Paddling pool full of horse poo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we had to go down to Stepney
Round the
Bank
corner.
stables to get.
God bless him.
Yeah.
After that,
Big IKEA bag.
a paddling pool full of fluids, which built up over time, food and
That's
fluids.
the one with the chute. That's, I think, my favourite one we ever did.
Good, I'm glad you enjoyed
Yeah.
it. And then, what was the one after that? The buttons.
Buttons,
The
yeah.
buttons, which...
Oh, is that when you drank inadvertently horse?
Inadvertently.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sam, this
It's
is
in
another
my
thing that
mouth.
I had to process a receipt for. You would not believe how expensive horse spooge is.
Yeah.
And
It ain't cheap.
no. So yeah, sat in the thing, and Sam, bless him, a tech whiz kid, managed to hook up like a Raspberry Pi, a little mini computer, to all of these buttons that are trailed with cables off from the outside, and then only one of the buttons would let me escape.
Yeah,
and
so it would trigger a no escape, but you had to. It was people could donate to give you button presses, and then
That was-
you
yeah.
would get eventually there'd be like 20 waiting, but then you started getting scared because when it was a no escape, it'd be something else goes on you.
Yeah, covered in all sorts of stuff. One of the last things, I was unlucky to press the glitter button. So it turned out that I was only about 15 odd minutes away from getting out of there. And one of the
Yeah.
last things, I'm covered in all sorts of stuff, like just rotten milk and all this stuff, just awful. Very sticky man. And then it turns out 15 minutes before I managed to get out, glitter.
You
Everyone's
can't be pressing
finding
the
it.
glitter.
funny.
Later
I had I had my phone filming slow-mo. I'll find the clip somewhere. But it's as I just sort of gently pour the glitter in like this, and then it's you realizing it, looking up at me just with the most pain in your eyes, and it was
Awful. And then most recently, I don't even know what to call
Big
it.
Brother-esque.
Yeah, where I
nightmare.
was on camera literally 24/7.
We gave you so many clues that you just
crap
didn't.
clues.
You didn't even
Crap, don't
pick
give
up
me
on.
that bollocks. Absolute nonsense.
Whenever upstairs we flicked
could
that
have been
on
out
to
there in
see
20
how you were
minutes.
doing, that was like if all the Hell in a Smells were like an artist's discography, that was your darkest album. That was, I found that quite disturbing to watch sometimes.
It was hard work, and it was the knowledge that I was on camera, like trying to sleep. And I mentioned this a few times on video, but if it was like 4 a.m. and I stirred during the night, and I turn over, look at the camera, remember where I am, and then look at the chat, to be a couple of weirdos going, "Hello, sleepy boy."
And then you'd hear the dance music start.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
people would get me up and get me in
yeah.
the piss and all that stuff. Back to the other punishments. Wasabi in the milk. Amazing.
Golden.
I can't believe that caught on. That still gets commented sometimes.
Yeah.
Of course, there's wasabi in the milk. Blended Mackies, one of Sam's.
Yeah, everything just tasted like Big Mac sauce eventually, but it was chunky. I remember downing it, and then a whole pickle started coming toward my mouth, and I started to go like,
I got called out by a bigger YouTuber, bigger boy than us, for that
Yeah?
video. Yeah.
Go on.
I wouldn't name who it was, but it was one of the Sidemen's friends.
Ooh.
Yeah, big one. They shortly after this, someone Sidemen adjacent had done like a blended McDonald's thing. And I don't know. I'm sure it was actually an accident, but I tweeted like, "Oh yeah," blah, blah. And he like retweeted and put like, "You melt." Of course we didn't. And then obviously his army of like fans just. I was like, "Oh no." Yeah, it was bad.
Not stepped in a Sports Direct since, I imagine.
Yeah.
Penny. Arguably the best video we've ever done.
In terms of laughs per minute, I
Yeah.
think it's the highest ratio.
I remember filming that one because we needed somebody to just make sure the camera wasn't going to die at all. And we've got these sort of like double layered curtains for the upstairs studio. You two sat at a table in front of me, lights there, and I have that curtain just balled up and I'm chewing on it and just crying with tears the entire time.
You know how Ross took the snake one off? That would have been that for me. I couldn't have dealt with that.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Still had credit left on the phone, so we could give her a call.
Just get it right.
Yeah.
For old time's
still
sake, go
going.
on, Adam.
How quickly do you think she cottoned on? What was?
I think she was along for the ride for
I
about
agree.
a minute.
What was?
I'd say longer.
Would you really?
I didn't feel like she was playing along until at least a couple of minutes in.
Yeah. I remember at one point she was just like, "Oh, you're a bit of a weirdo or something."
Well, that
like
was-
that,
it
aren't
was-
you?"
They
you
must
said
get
I'm
some
a
real
genetic-
oddballs. You won't be the weirdest caller she had.
Yeah.
You said because I'm a genetic freak and I'm not normal. And there's a gentle pause
Oh,
and she
yeah.
goes, "Oh, I can tell you're not normal." You're like, great. Yeah.
We touched on it. Ross and Sam getting married over
Oh,
in
happiest
Vegas.
day of my life.
Where's the legal ramifications that come after? It's the punishment, not actual. Because the ceremony itself had a great time. What a
Yeah.
lovely setting in a shopping centre.
It was lovely. Well, it was in a casino. It was opposite a Raiders shop before they'd announced where the Raiders were going. So I was like, I wonder where the Raiders are going. But yeah, I remember the distinct lack of romance about it. When you just walked in, she went, "Okay, so just sign this, sign this, sign this."
You weren't
okay,
even going
right?
to kiss me, Sam.
And it was like, I knew I was going to kiss you, but you went full bore.
Obviously.
But
Bit of passion.
it was like, sign this, sign this, sign this. You're now technically married, but let's go do the ceremony. And that was it. And then Matthew dropped the ring, cursed it. That's why we're divorced.
Matthew was the ring bearer, or Matthew was the ring bearer. Because I
Yeah.
think the ring bearer was Puppet
Jack.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That,
Obviously.
that puppet.
Tarred and feathered.
Oh,
that was a bad one. Yeah.
The
when-
carpet's
it was
still
like-
suffering the stains.
Yeah, like a cold December morning, late November morning. It was freezing. Had to be out there in my shorts and t-shirt. And then, Tom poured treacle over me and then feathers and had to walk. How long is it back to 10 minutes?
Yeah,
5,
so
10
some
minutes,
distance.
walking up
It
the
was
street.
all up the street for days.
Had to get in the Uber, ruined his seat in the back as well because it was still like in my back. I couldn't get it out.
You had like a full change of clothes, and you were still sat there. Like, I think we tried to like wash you off, and it just wasn't
You know
coming
that
off.
scene in Friends where Ross has got the leather trousers on. He's trying to get them off because he's sweaty. They're stuck.
Yeah.
That was me in my jogging bottoms downstairs in the toilet. I was like, I'm going to have to just get in the Uber like this. I was nearly crying. Anyway.
Took a whole star off the rating.
And then Kayla, we were maybe 6 months into the relationship, had to hose me down like a dog.
Ross the dog.
Yeah, Ross the dog. I was just like, Kayla, can you help us? And I was just like covered in treacle right down everywhere backwards. And she was just stood there going like that with a bonded experience, the pair of us.
Yeah.
And then another pretty recent one as well, which Joel was involved in.
Oh,
Stand up for WWE, which got a lot of flack from people who hadn't seen the video on Twitter. The best reaction we've ever had. Controversy creates cash, right?
Well, that was sort of it. Like, 'cause
Freaks are on Wembley Way standing up for WWE.
it was the only time I think I've done any real life like IRL vloggy type stuff where you're running around with a phone and the camera. So we split off into teams.
We had about one night in the woods.
They had, yeah, we had a night in the woods. But surrounded by people in a busy city. But obviously we lost the challenge and we lost at like an agonizing last step. Or
I've
we
got
got
no
down,
sympathy for you losing the challenge, by the way.
We got down.
Early on, you're like, oh, the next challenge is have a drink. And you just have a leisurely sit. I'm
Well,
like,
the thing
run
is, 'cause
down
we
it.
thought we were ahead and we were pretty quick with the drink.
You're pretty cocky, son.
And then when we got to the station, it was like, okay, there's nobody here, there's nobody here, there's nobody here. The train was just pulling out. And then I remember just seeing Tom with the camera. And I don't even know if he managed to get it recording in time, but it was just him, me and Joel just mouthing. And then that was it. It was just, yeah. And then we had to go and stand up for WWE at AEW's biggest weekend of the year, and it generated the response I thought we all thought it was
I
going
know
to
you got a
generate.
lot of online hate, but did anyone?
That was the
What did you
point,
get
I
in
think.
person? Did anyone?
People mainly just laughed
Okay.
and sort of went along with it, but it was like, look at these freaks, who does this? And it was like, you yourself are being played.
By Triple H.
The best thing, there's many good things about Sam taking over the MD role, but the best thing about it is that the punishments are realistically just going to get more and more mental because Sam is a legitimate masochist. Some of your punishment suggestions in the past have been.
Yeah,
I can't believe some of them.
I always wanted to do, but you did mouse traps recently, but I always wanted to get those MIDI, the MIDI sensors where you can like attach them to apples and oranges, and it plays notes, but you've got to play like a wrestler's theme on a mousetrap keyboard.
See, he's full of ideas.
Yeah. You should wait to see the one that's coming up. It's taking a little bit of a while to plan, but it's going to be absolutely brutal.
I can't wait.
I'm so happy you lost that one.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's going to be rough. So is there anything else anyone wants to go over before I say goodbye? Even though I'm here for another month.
Thank you for like
Stop it.
8 years of tireless dedication.
I was going to
mate.
say, because people don't quite realize how much you do outside of like a working week.
And how
It's
much
been,
you
it feels like it's
took
been
on.
24/7 for you for 8 years.
You know what? Yeah.
So obviously the appreciation from I guess
Same.
all of us is
Absolutely.
there.
Thank you.
Hopefully you have a nice little rest for a bit. And,
Yeah, please do.
Figure out what I'm going to do next.
Yeah.
So I'll still be popping up on news videos for a few more weeks. I'll still be with you for the remaining Tuesdays of the month. Still doing the predictions with Andrew at the end of the month. I don't think there's not a Saturday night's main event, is there? If something happens, you might see me pop up.
Get them to
on
do
top.
one. Just ring them up.
Just ring them up.
Yeah.
Trips.
Yeah. NBC would love it.
Again, thank you to all the staff. Went through all the names there, and I desperately hope that we haven't forgotten anybody there because I'm so appreciative of every one of our staff and how brilliant they've been to work with and how much we've all learned from our staff members. But of course, thanks to you. Thank you for... I'm going to go.
Do one of us jump in? Do we saw? What do we do?
Slap him, Sam.
I'm good. Slap him. Thank you for allowing me to do this for 10 years.
Slap him.
Go on. Go on. It's a punishment. Sorry. Thank you for allowing me to do this for 10 years. It's been a pleasure. Cheers.
Well, you've ended that on a bummer.
Yeah, sorry.
Should I just actually slap him?
Oh no! Oh no!
There's a claim as a blame.
That's it. The show is very much going on, and please
the thought.
continue. Yeah, I feel that. Tribunal. The show is going on, and the stuff that's in the works is amazing. Please do keep supporting Cultaholic because we have, since our start, produced the best wrestling content online, and I truly believe that.
And we're
And
gonna
we'll continue to do
so.
so. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. Thank you, everyone.
See you later.
Are you going to give us a final? You love it.
You love it! Yeah!